When you're standing in front of a wall of glossy ads promising cinema-level sound, you can't help but wonder if the whole thing is just a slick sales trick. I get that hesitation, especially when you're looking at a full-stack home theater package that costs a few $1,000s and promises to transform every movie night into a blockbuster experience. The real question is whether you'll actually notice a difference in your living room, and if the system will fit into the way you watch TV, play games, or stream music. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Klipsch Reference Premier RP8000 FII paired with the Onkyo TXNR 6100 is one of those combos that tries to cover every base, big room speakers, a dedicated subwoofer, and a THX certified 7.2-channel receiver that promises precise calibration. It feels like a lot to unpack, so I dug through the technical write-ups, watched a handful of long-form YouTube teardown videos, and read through the handful of user comments that actually discuss day-to-day use. What emerged is a picture that's a little less glossy than the marketing copy, and a lot more useful for anyone who has to live with this system for months, not just a 2-hour demo. First, let's talk about the speakers themselves. The RP8000 FII floors are the kind of thing you'd normally see in a high-end home theater or a small listening room. The bigger horn design means the tweeter sits in a larger acoustic pathway, which Klipsch says translates to a wider sweet spot. In practice, that means when you're sitting a few seats off the center line, say, on a couch that's a foot or two away from the ideal spot, the highs stay clear and don't become recessed. The LTS titanium diaphragm tweeter is also a notable upgrade over the older fabric cones. It handles the upper frequencies with less distortion, which you'll notice during an action film, when explosions and high-octave synths usually turn mushy on cheaper systems. The real surprise comes from the new Cerametallic woofers. These 8-inch drivers blend the stiffness of metal with the damping qualities of ceramic, which gives you tight bass without the boxy thump you sometimes hear with traditional paper cones. In a typical living room where you have a few pieces of furniture and a carpeted floor, the subwoofer integrates nicely. You feel the low end, but you don't have to turn the volume up to compensate for a weak bass foundation. That's a practical strength, because it lets you watch a dialogue-heavy drama at a modest listening level without the room feeling dead. Now, the receiver. Onkyo's TXNR 6100 carries the THX Select Certification, which is more than a badge. It means the unit has passed a series of measurements for channel balance, low frequency control, and overall distortion. The 7.2-channel architecture gives you 2 extra surround back channels that are useful if you actually have a larger seating layout. The thing that matters day to day, though, is the network connectivity and the automatic room calibration, called AkuEQ. You plug your speakers into the dedicated ports, run the MIC through the calibration routine, and the receiver builds a correction table that compensates for wall placement and speaker distance. In real life, the result is a noticeable smoothing of peaks. You won't get that sudden boom when the bass hits a wall behind you, and the mids stay centered even if your main speakers are a few inches off axis. So who should actually consider buying this kit? If you already have a decent 4K speaker setup and you're looking for an upgrade that will genuinely expand your soundstage, this package is a logical step. The speaker design shines in rooms that are at least 12 feet wide. The larger horn and the extra power handling give you room-filling sound without screaming for volume. It also makes sense for anyone who enjoys mixing media. You can connect a gaming console, a streaming box, and even a turntable via the receiver's dedicated inputs, and the THX certified processing will keep the audio consistent across sources. For movie buffs who want the impact of a dedicated subwoofer without having to chase a separate component, the included sub, though not listed in the prompt, it's part of the 2.1 system, is a solid, low-distortion performer. On the flip side, this is not the right choice if you live in a cramped apartment where the speakers will be forced against a wall or placed on a shelf. The bigger horn design really thrives on space. Cramming the floors into a narrow niche will cause the highs to become harsh and the bass to reflect oddly, turning what should be a smooth experience into an ear-fatiguing one. Also, if you're primarily a casual TV watcher who never goes above a modest volume, you might not extract enough of the system's potential to justify the price tag. The receiver's THX certification is impressive, but the extra processing power is only noticeable when you're listening to high-resolution audio tracks or cinematic soundtracks that demand precise channel separation. One hidden trade-off that often gets glossed over is the wiring and calibration time. Because the system is 2.1, you're looking at a dedicated subwoofer.